Are you a Pisces sun, moon, or rising and you're interested in diving deeper into your psyche? Or perhaps you are cross-watching for a Pisces in your life and you want to know more about their inner world? Well, in today's video, we're going to be exploring the shadow side of Pisces and how to own these hidden parts. Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. Now, before we do dive into today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button and click the bell. And if you are interested in any of my services, if you're interested in booking a reading with me, then you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks guide and merch. I also have some cheat sheets available. All the links to these products will be in the description box down below. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful today. Let's do this. Okay, so before we do get into this, I do not claim to be a psychologist. This is simply me going off the knowledge I know about astrology. Take what I say today with a grain of salt and see how things resonate. Now, I do want to give a massive shout out to the author of this book, The 12 Houses, Howard Sasportas. I strongly recommend this read. Really great when you want to learn about the 12 houses. Thanks to his knowledge, I have been able to create this series. Also, I suggest watching for your rising sign first and foremost, followed by your sun sign, then your moon sign, just to see how things show up for you. And I will be using the whole sign system for this series. So we will be diving into your 7th, 4th, 8th, and 12th houses. This is because these houses are unconscious houses. They are tied to our shadow. And if you do have any planets in these houses, consider them. And one more thing I want to mention, this series has been created in conjunction with Jungian psychology. And so we will be exploring your shadow side. In short terms, Carl Jung explored symbolism and archetypes, and you could say that the 12 signs are archetypes. So on that note, let's explore your shadow, Pisces, and how you come to own it. Pisces, you greet life in various ways, especially because it's you who is the most changeable and fluid and adaptable out of all the signs. Sometimes a particular experience is a vibe, other times not so much. Sometimes the way you dress, the way you appear, yeah, great. Other times, not so much. Your moods fluctuate the most, even more than Cancers, I would say, in this. You're very sensitive to your surroundings and other people's emotions. You even pick up on the undercurrents, okay? So the information which isn't being communicated outwardly or directly, but is felt on a subconscious level. You might not be aware of your ability to tap into other frequencies and dimensions, especially when you're younger, or even when you don't understand really what's going on. But the more you grow, the more you mature, it could be that you actually come to realize your gifts. Some of you become mediums, psychics, healers, tarot readers, healthcare professionals, vets. Then there are those of you who work in hospitals, rehabilitation centers, orphanages, hospices, mental health institutions. Then there are those of you who work within spas, retreat centers, resorts, holistic centers. You might even give massages as a living or work as a spiritual healer, even take Abraham Hicks, for example, here, okay? So she is a Pisces. Her sun sign is in Pisces, and she is such a channeler, okay? And Abraham's teachings are based on manifestation, the law of attraction, and just look at manifesting, how much it's exploded over the last few years. And in Abraham's case, it's about energy, okay? It's about vibration. Take also famous scientist and Pisces, Albert Einstein, and apparently he said everything is energy and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Now, I have heard some people stating that he didn't actually say this, but if he did, I find the quote to be very Pisces. Then again, perhaps the scientific side of it, thinking about the quote there, this shows up more through his Jupiter in Aquarius, Jupiter being one of the rulers of his sun. Even Abraham, she has her Mercury in Aquarius, and she has shared the scientific view of vibration. Still, it is you, Pisces, who goes beyond. You see beyond this reality, and you offer the world a rather fresh perspective. In fact, Dr. Wayne Dyer, he had a Pisces rising, and he also taught the law of attraction. And the famous book, Ask and It Is Given, which includes the teachings of Esther and Jerry Hicks, well, that book was forwarded by Wayne Dyer. Moreover, you also possess a strong desire to help others, to be of service, but not in the Virgo material way, but in an extremely selfless way. You can be such generous and hospitable and charitable people, the type of people who are willing to give the shirt off your back to someone else who is in need. Then there are those of you who are very artistic and creative, whether that be writing, filmmaking, painting, singing, dancing, decorating, cooking. You can be such visual people, okay, with a vivid imagination. And whatever you visualize, you can make a reality. There is something about your character that is expansive and open and receptive. You can be highly flexible and adaptable, caring, loving, gentle too. And when you are aligned with your higher self, you are perceptive, you're passionate, you're investigative, you're devoted. You can actually be very driven when you need to be. And there is a ton of depth to you, which is highly mysterious and mystical. You'll throw yourself into exploring the unknown, the taboo. You'll seek to dive beneath the surface, and you'll even share information which often isn't being talked about. However, the thing about this is you can become very overwhelmed by life's responsibilities, overwhelmed by other people's demands, their feelings, their energy. Perhaps people project on you, okay? They project quite a lot onto you. And perhaps it was that you were projected onto as a child. Your parents might have had their own dreams and visions, and so they place their desires and their fantasies on you. Or it could be that people would cross your boundaries repeatedly growing up, and even today you might become confused or unsure about your life path because everybody else seems to know better. Like their choices and their decisions matter more. Maybe you depend on others to make choices for you without realizing, or it's that you morph into somebody else's version of you. So thinking about their own perceptions. Some of you might even turn to alcohol or other substances as a way to cope with everyday life, as a way to cope with everybody else's expectations. And then it could even be here that it's easy to escape rather than face life's challenges. And let's not forget your dark thoughts, okay? The dark places you go to psychologically. It might be tempting to live a life with weak morals, with a fragile ego. It's tempting to live dangerously or to remove yourself from daily duties. Yeah, there are those of you who, well, you could be addicts, okay? Or you could depend on others, overly so. But you might merge so much that you completely lose yourself, whether this be merging with a person or merging with a higher power or even with a teaching, a message. We just notice here these self-sacrificing behaviors and being a martyr. And this is what leads me onto your descendant, which is Virgo. Virgo invites you to use discernment, to use discrimination, to stick to a schedule, to have a useful routine that can help ground you and support you. See, whilst you can dissolve your ego boundaries, this is also about developing an identity. Sure, this is about being part of something that is bigger than yourself, but it's also important to deal with your everyday life. If you lose yourself, you could spiral into a state of chaos and confusion, which isn't healthy. But if your personality is too inflexible, you might find it challenging to see a different way. Following your intuition would be much more difficult, for instance, okay? Still, Virgo welcomes the part of you that can set limits and is much more aware of time. Virgo also wants you to use greater caution and to view things more practically, to use common sense as well, to assess the evidence of a situation. As an example, Virgo says, set some healthy boundaries in your life. And this is so interesting because you often look out at the world and you think, other people think they are so smart, like they have it all figured out. Why must everything be perfect all the time? I can't stand how judgmental they can be. But Virgo encourages you to look in the mirror. Virgo asks, what are these people reflecting about the perfectionistic tendencies in my own life? See, Virgo shows you that it's okay to improve things. It's okay to go the extra mile if you really want to make something amazing. And it's also okay to manage your time better. And the thing about this is that you tend to attract people into your life who teach you these lessons. You might not see it because the 7th house is unconscious. A big part of the 7th house is unconscious. But others tend to teach you lessons associated with timekeeping, cleanliness, hygiene, routine, order, health, developing effective systems. It might feel like others are having a go at you, or like everything needs to be on their time, or like they're so much smarter, or they're doing it so much better. And perhaps sometimes partners and relatives can be demanding, they can be bossy in this way. But other times, these people just might be teaching you a thing or two about attending to your everyday needs. And by keeping on top of all of those mundane things, your life can be easier. Moreover, you tend to attract lovers, close friends, and business partners who are organized and discreet, health conscious, hygienic. And when you become really close, these qualities seem to come out of you. You can experience relationships where you clean like crazy, okay? You'll take on all of the everyday responsibilities. You'll start planning, solving problems, fixing things around the house. The parts of yourself which are analytical, discriminating, and correcting, oh yeah, they start to come out. You'll notice all the little details, or you will step into a position of service where you're doing the most of the cooking or the most cleaning, or you're the one who is working most of the time. However, do be cautious of high expectations within your relationships. See, it is also your relationships which can bring out the parts of you which are demanding, critical, and nagging. You can be fussy, you can be nervous, you can be picky, you can be super critical. You can also be very worrisome, where you start to worry about potential issues which haven't even happened yet. You might even try to fix or change your partner, change them into your ideal partner instead of accepting them for who they are. Or you could overthink your partner's every move, or you'll pick them apart as you take what they say super personally. You could also be overly systematic and then you end up becoming disappointed, or you experience even a nervous breakdown the moment something doesn't go according to plan. Now, with that being said, this could very well be where it's your partner who acts this way toward you. Essentially though, this high-strung quality could very well play out within your relationships. Still, let's take you back to your childhood by exploring your 4th house / your IC. So you have Gemini here. Did you grow up in a rather chaotic house or in a busy house? Perhaps you switched between 2 households, or your family was just all over the place. They were scattered. They didn't know whether they were coming or going. Maybe there wasn't much order or reliability. Then again, is it that your parents were high strung, okay? Particularly your mother. Perhaps she was also restless, easily bored. Her mind was always racing, or it seemed like she always had somewhere to be. She might have changed her mind quite a bit, or she was very moody. Her moods continuously fluctuated. Then there were times when she gossiped a lot. She would gossip about the neighbors, about other family members. She wasn't the best at keeping secrets either. She would share information, spread it around, even if you weren't comfortable with it. Yeah, maybe in your mind, she didn't make any sense, but in her mind, it was also logical. It was also reasonable. Then again, this can apply to family members just in general. So thinking about your family always chatting, it was difficult to have a moment of silence. Rumors were spread about other family members. Moreover, is it that you moved house growing up, or you grew up with a step-parent? Or maybe your cousins would visit often. And if we were to look at the fourth house through the lens of the father, well, perhaps he was quite chatty, articulate, engaging. And then another thing is, getting a decent education was encouraged. Maybe having a sharp intellect was encouraged. Perhaps you are very curious at your core, Pisces. You have many ideas, many thoughts you would like to share, and quite possibly you share your thoughts without a filter. It all just comes out. There is this restlessness when it comes to you, Pisces. And this is quite interesting because whilst you might grow to feel greater calm and tranquility in your life, during your younger years, there's just a lot of chitter chatter between your ears. Meditation might actually be very challenging for you. You might even find it really hard to get a good night's sleep due to having an overactive mind, which we will talk more about in the Aquarius 12th house section. But essentially, this is where we notice how much you can overthink, analyze, and become tangled up in your many ideas. Ideas which you later come to understand and then share with society. Therefore, this is also about owning your Gemini traits, the parts of you which are curious and inquisitive, the parts of you which are clever, articulate, bright, logical, the parts of you that can see connections and patterns in things. All right, so now we have explored your family life and how you approach your relationships. Let's explore your 8th house, and you have Libra in this house. And I think Libra here shows the importance of balance, harmony, patience, and being thoughtful. We actually notice just how diplomatic and cooperative and fair and attractive you can be, Pisces. But this is also where we notice how you can go to extremes when it comes to exploring your options. We also notice the extremes when it comes to other people's money and resources. Indeed, you might depend on others for resources and finances, etc. Or it could be that you seek a partnership where the other person gives you all you desire. Perhaps you even receive an inheritance or you come into money through marriage. And as for the options thing, this could be where you are very indecisive or where you wish to have it all, even if you can't necessarily afford such things. And the thing is manipulation can play out when you try to manipulate your partner to get them to do what you want them to do, but in these hidden subtle ways. And when you don't get what you want, you might try and use persuasion. You could very well turn on the charm. And if or when others try to make you aware of these behaviors, you'll either fight against their feedback or you can transform. That's if you see where they're coming from. Yeah, you could even use like little subtle remarks or use subtle digs as a way to express your discomfort, your annoyance. And I think in general, you can transform when it comes to feedback, okay? When it comes to rational thought, when it comes to sharing, exchanging. Now, to look at this positively, of course, Libra here shows you that you are, as I say, fair, tactful, you're willing to negotiate, you're willing to reach a compromise within your relationships, especially your intimate relationships. You can show sincerity, you can share clear opinions. There is a part of you that seeks to be on the same page. And we even notice here how much you transform when it comes to your taste, your fashion, your style. You transform when it comes to your beauty as well. You're also great at seeing the beauty in others. All right, so moving on to the 12th house. Now you have the sign of Aquarius here. And right off the bat, this suggests that some spiritual lessons you are coming to learn in this life are tied to objectivity, originality, experimentation, and thinking for yourself. Perhaps you dream of being an inventor or an innovator of some kind, Pisces, or you dream of helping your fellow man. You not only show compassion and empathy outwardly, but inwardly you are so caring. You care about humanity, you care about the collective themes at play. On the other hand though, perhaps you often become tangled up in it all, where you worry, overthink, stress yourself out. Perhaps for you, it's important to pay attention to your news consumption, or to know when you're becoming too invested in a political concern, for example. Limits, boundaries, Pisces. Also, Aquarius here invites you to embrace your inner world, really, to embrace your quirks, your eccentricities, and to integrate some independence, to see yourself as an individual whilst also seeing how you fit into the greater whole. To have a free mind whilst also looking at the bigger connections between people. Aquarius also indicates the part of you that can pick up on the wider themes. Sort of like having these antennas, okay? So you transmit signals from the universe and you deliver the messages to society at large. Oh yes, Aquarius here further adds to your psychic abilities, keeping in mind the 12th house is the house traditionally ruled by you. Okay, and what is quite special about this is how both Uranus and Neptune play a role. These planets look at universal truths and principles. It's quite unique actually to have planets rule the 12th and first houses. Perhaps you could say that you possess this intuitive gift or gifts related to spirituality, or it's that you have these flashes of insight, and such gifts are to be shared. They're to be passed on. You can share your wisdom with the world, teach them how to own their own gifts, guide them toward their own divinity, and so on. But then there are those of you who might help others who are suffering, okay? Or you can act as a mentor for people who feel stuck or lost. This could look like you working in hospitals, for example, helping others who are struggling with poor mental health. And you might also know from experience what that feels like, Pisces, what it feels like to suffer mentally, emotionally, what it feels like to experience depression. Indeed, there is a part of you that cares about humanity. Maybe you also come to learn that you're not alone. You're not as alone as you think. See, you might have grown up feeling quite lonely because you felt highly misunderstood. But I think Aquarius in your 12th house teaches you so much about community, friendship, togetherness, and belonging. Aquarius here teaches you that there are people who exist, who relate, who get you, people who seek to know you, people who wish to understand you, people who care about you. And I think you come to learn who your true friends are, who your true allies are, which people follow you and are genuine people, versus people who are in your social circle because they want something from you. It might actually be quite difficult for you to find your tribe, especially when you were younger, but as you mature and grow, you find valuable, secure, and long-lasting friendships and groups. People who are real with you, people who wish to build with you and are committed. Indeed, you come to learn about the value of community, teamwork, and friendship. You also come to understand and appreciate your mind so much better. You learn to nourish your mind. Now, with that being said, remember things like rudeness, tactlessness, and even being fanatical. These things can lead to your self-undoing, making it seem like you know so much more, you know so much better than everybody else. Okay, these types of qualities can lead to your self-undoing. Still, this is about you owning the parts of yourself which are courteous, independent, and reforming. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking all about the psychology, the shadow side of Pisces. Now, if you do happen to have a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, please let me know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. I hope you find it to be helpful. Even if you're cross-watching for a Pisces in your life, again, I hope you find it to be useful. Just in general, let me know your thoughts and your opinions on today's video. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button. And also give this video a like if you did like it today. Just overall, thank you so much for being here throughout this psychology series. We're finally at the end. Thank you for all of the support. I hope you have enjoyed this series. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!